All right, first up today is North Carolina, and they are represented by head coach Courtney Banghart and student athletes Maria Gokdang and Alyssa Usby. Coach, if you would, please make an opening statement.
Ooh, where do we start? Obviously, the stars of the show are to my right, but just this team's been through a lot, obviously, and winning. I thought Michigan State was a little underseeded, that they were really good. Their seed was too high for how good they were, so we knew we had a challenge on our hands. And we had two choices. You can outscore them or you can try to stop them. I think a lot of people try to outscore them because of their potent offense. But our guys we sort of said to know them is to defend them. And these guys totally locked into the defensive game plan so that we could make really tough looks out of them. So just a really good defensive effort. I thought we set the tempo the way we needed to. We wanted to play through our bigs because of their size. And that's easy to say and hard to do. And just a huge credit to these two, Tiani, who really came in and gave us a lift on the interior. So it's Maria's first NCAA tournament game, and look what she did. And then Alyssa Usby is just a noun at this point. So Alyssa Usby.
With that, we'll open up for just questions for just the student athletes at this time first. We'll go here in the middle front.
Hi, Caroline with the DTH. This is for Alyssa. When you grabbed that final rebound to officially seal the game, as well as working with Tiani to grab the second to last rebound, what was going through your mind and what were you feeling in that moment?
Yeah, well, when Tiani and I were on the free throw line there, we knew that we had to come up with a rebound if in the case that we had missed. And Deja doesn't miss very often, but I told her be ready just in case. And so when Tiani got the first one, I was like, yes, perfect, let's do it again. And so when we got the second one, I was just very proud of our girls because we fought the whole game and we earned this one.
Let's go here in the front. Please wait use the microphone, please.
Ariel Bonham, Cardinal Tribune. Maria, you had more offensive rebounds than their entire team. What was working for you inside? I mean, coming in, you knew that you had a height advantage, and that would be something that you want to exploit. How did you do it?
Yeah, definitely having my height advantage is part of the game plan, knowing that we're gonna shoot a lot of shots and we had to rebound. So using my body, getting into them, getting those rebounds was going to be important. Kicking back out for open threes, I think that was really important for extra possessions and getting us up in the game.
And right behind that.
Yeah, Mitch North on WNC. Alyssa, it does feel like you guys followed the game plan to a T if it was to attack in the paint. I think 18 of your first 21 points in the game were in the paint. When you get a game plan like that, as someone who excels in the paint, how excited are you to sort of attack this game?
Oh, I'm so excited because then once we start pounding them in the paint in the beginning, like you pointed out, then I get to kind of dissect and kind of find where they're trying to overcompensate. If they send a double, then Maria and I played really well out of doubles and finding our teammates when we were cutting to the basket. India had a great heads-up play when I was diving to the basket. So I felt like we made them collapse a lot in the paint, and that led to other openings. So I was definitely very excited that we were getting some more looks down there, but even more excited for the rest of the team because that means that we're going to have some other openings that we can take advantage of as well.
Right here in front.
Hi, I'm Emma Moon with the Daily Tar Heel. This is for Maria. When we talked yesterday, with this being your first NCAA tournament, you said you wanted to do this for yourself. And how did that emotion play into today, and what does it feel like to successfully do that?
Yeah, I think just mainly playing with confidence is something that I struggled with before, but coming into the tournament, I know it was like a fresh start for us, and we could go on a really good run. If I show up, showing up for my teammates was going to be really important today, so that's kind of who I stepped up for, and I'm glad that it turned out well. We got the win. So.
Go in the middle.
Alyssa, yesterday you talked about getting the team back to its bread and butter, especially making plays in transition. How did you see that kind of having an impact today?
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts on the defensive end for us. When our defensive intensity is good, then we get live ball stops, which we love to run. So we'll get out wide, we'll rim run, and that just opens up so many more opportunities for us. And so I felt like we did a great job taking advantage of that in transition, but I do think it started on the defensive end for sure.
Let's go right here and then go around the side.
For Maria, again, you kind of talked about, struggling with confidence throughout the season. In the last 2 weeks specifically with practice, I guess, is there a moment you can pinpoint when you felt that shift happen and your confidence grow?
I would say just hearing it from my teammates throughout the season that they believe in me, hearing from coaches that they trust me, believe in me. So just being able to instill that within myself was one of the major things. In practice over the past couple weeks, we've been really competitive, going at it with each other in the post, knowing that it's going to be a really physical game down there. So knowing that and getting to it in practice was going to be important for us going to the tournament.
Right here in front.
Oh, listen, for most of the season, you've had situations where you have a big lead and give it up. What were the emotions as that lead was coming down, and then when you staved it off there at the end?
Yeah, I mean, all teams that we play against are going to go on runs, and momentum is going to shift. So I don't necessarily would identify it as us like giving up points or giving up a run. I would say that we're learning how to adjust to adversity and to the changes of our opponent. So if they're making an adjustment on offense and they're like hitting the pot for the three, then we have to make the adjustment. I felt like tonight we were, or this morning, we were quicker. We were quicker at making those adjustments, and so I think that's something that's really important for us, especially the ones inside the lines, to recognize those patterns and recognize those changes and be able to adjust on the fly.
Other questions for student athletes? Seeing none, y'all can go back to the locker room.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
See you tomorrow. And if you want to follow them to the locker room, if you want to go to the locker room, go ahead.
Hi, guys.
And raise your hand. We'll have questions for Coach Banghart at this point.
Yeah, Coach, I think Michigan State has scored less than 60 points, like maybe 4 times this season or something like that. What were the keys defensively?
Yeah, I mean, we knew, gosh, they are a dangerous offensive team, and not just against whoever, right? They're scoring 90 against Iowa and Ohio State, and they do it 2 ways. They force turnovers, and then they're able to really get into the paint for themselves and others. They take, 999 threes or twos at the rim, take about 300 threes, and then about 100 of everything else, right? So we really wanted to close off and not give them all those layups. So we wanted to force 0 right. We wanted to make sure that we had a contest on 40. We wanted to make sure that we forced counters and didn't allow step-throughs against certain guys. So really it was to know them is to defend them was sort of our priority. And also, we wanted to be active. I think we sometimes, understandably, that you could see it through the shifts of the game, we get tired, and I get it, right? That's what we're dealing with right now, right? So they're tired, and then we get reactive. And so it's just helping them understand that you still are going to be tired when you're defending, whether you're active or reactive. It's just active will probably lead to offense, right? So just super proud of them. I mean, we shot 8 for 18 from the free throw line. That's just a hard game to win in the tournament if that's what you're going to shoot. But they finally were able to find a way. So defensively to stop, how many did they end up with? Not even 60? I mean, that's pretty remarkable.
Go here in front.
Can you speak to the quality minutes off the bench by Tiani, and also Barker and Poole's contributions off the bench?
Yeah, Tiani was huge. I mean, I think her length, I thought she contested really well. We talked about walling up, didn't want to foul. They go to the free throw line a lot. So we wanted to use her length. We said a wall up is a win, right, against her because she's so long and can elevate. And she did that to a T. 40, she guarded her really well. So she was totally locked in to the game plan. You could tell. And she's, as I've always said, she's missed a lot of time, so she's still kind of finding her rhythm because of her injuries. And you guys are getting a glimpse of what she could do for us. And then Anya's so experienced, so you can count on her. You don't need to you need her when you need her. She's ready. And then Sid, that kid's a walk-on who, we just gave a scholarship to. And the fact that she could give almost 5 minutes means it's 5 less minutes someone else had to play. So it was huge. Any minute that anyone off the bench can give us in a positive faction helps our team a lot.
Let's go here.
Yeah, Maria kind of mentioned that coaches have worked to kind of install confidence within her. And I was just wondering if you could kind of discuss the conversations, especially over the last 2 weeks in preparation for the game and kind of installing that confidence in her.
Yeah, we start with the idea that confidence comes from, preparation and the work you put in, right? And she puts work in. So she's prepared, right? She puts in time outside of practice. She works on her skill work, and so that's usually enough, right? And so it's reminding her that, confidence comes from that. And then when you still struggle with it, it's helping her see that that who else do you need to believe in you, right? You got your teammates and coaches who need you, and when you're in and your other teammates aren't, it's because they need you to play well, right? And so, it's a constant reminder to her that Otherwise, I've made a recruiting mistake, and I don't try to make many of those, right? And then also just that confidence comes from the work you put in, and she puts a lot of work in.
Let's go in the middle here.
How would you say that Alyssa played into your game plan for out-rebounding MSU today?
Alyssa, her relentlessness and pursuit has been hard to guard for everyone in our league. You know, what these guys finished fourth in the Big Ten, right? And, you know, we feel a sense of pride in the ACC that we've got a really deep conference, that there's a lot of teams that are really good, and that we proved it today, right? But part of that is because Alyssa does that all the time. She does it against the number one team in the ACC. She does it against the worst team in the ACC. She does it against the fourth team in the Big Ten. What you guys saw from Alyssa is what I get to see literally every day. We always say practice the way you play. That was our key over the last 10 days or 14 days. It was we were going to practice the way we're going to play from a schematic and effort standpoint. And you look at Alyssa and she's just like, because that's how she rolls.
Right here in front.
Was that first half some of the best basketball your team has played this season?
Yeah, I thought we played. There are other games which probably are irrelevant at this point, but for them, in terms of the preparedness that they played with, right, and the confidence that they believed in to the game plan, and then how they moved to our spots offensively, they sort of put all three of those things together. So yeah, I thought it was we'll like watching the first half a little bit better than we'll like watching the second half.
And when you played South Carolina the first time, Maria had big games. She's going to have
Yeah.
to. What are you looking for her? Assuming it's South Carolina on
Yeah.
Sunday.
I mean, gosh, I'm almost boring. I've spent so much time working on Michigan State. You know, I know some coaches prepare for all the teams at once, and I know my staff has been working at preparing for all the teams. That's not how I am, right? I focus on one game at a time because I ask my players to do that, right? And they hopefully respond to the leader that they choose. And so I know South Carolina from last year, and they've been great for women's game. But in terms of the nuance of it, that's going to be good for me to talk about tomorrow. I don't know them as well as I need to right now.
Graham Couch, the Lansing State Journal. What's going through your mind when it gets a little tight there in the final minute? The three goes down, it's one. Like, what are you thinking right there? Yeah,
I mean, so we missed two free throws and gave up a three, and we got it in and we turned it over, and you know, it's you kind of look at them and say, okay, well, this is going to be more interesting than it needed to be, right? But at that moment is not the time to have a teaching moment. That's the moment to lead them into the next one, right? And so we were going to switch at the point of screens to force that. We wanted to have, if they were going to get a shot, it was going to be late. I thought we fouled 22 on design, and then they hit that three. So I think when you watch it back, you'll see that we had hands on them. But, you know, when we wanted to advance it to get in the hands of our free throw shooters, and they left the backcourt open. So we put a fast Tiani there because she can dribble out of that. So, you know, the end game, you know, I think we'll probably fast forward that part.
I saw in the, I know you know Robin pretty well from what she said, Robin Fralick. And then,
oh, God, yeah, very much so.
And then I saw you have a moment with Tori Osmond. Do you know her?
Yeah, I did a home visit with her when I was at Princeton. So
Okay.
I've been in her home.
Okay.
Yep. And I wanted her to run our one, right? So I just told her how proud I was of her, the career she's had, because she's really shifted positions, because that's what her team needs her to do. She's a great lead guard and a great facilitator who's had a great year, right? And she's getting to play the 3-4 right now, right? And then also I got to hug our chancellor, who we are sharing with Michigan State. And so, you know, yeah, Robin and I, our families got together for ice cream last night, which I know sometimes people can say, oh, you're not competitive enough. Like, we both have she has 2, I got 3 small kids. They see us compete all the time, right? And they need to see that, like, the humanity and friendship matters, right? And so, you know, I wanted to hammer them today, and they wanted to hammer us, right? But that doesn't mean the day before we can't act like our friendships and our kids can't see us, that we're going to compete like all we got, but we can also have a friendship.
Is that like the whole family at the dairy stand, or what does that look like?
Well, we had to go to 2 spots. There's not enough ice cream spots here in Columbia, I'll tell you what. I even asked the first place, I said, where can you get ice cream? And they were like, I don't know. He was like 18. I'm like, you're 18, man. You got to know where ice cream is. No, it was just, you know, the 2 families got together, and they ended up playing some silly games at the table, and it was an outdoor air, you know. I'm sure we were more of a mess to them than they were hoping. But, you know, it's just, this business is hard, and it's because you're competing all the time. It's like your kids are seeing you compete. You're competing in all facets of the business, right? And so when you have someone who you have great respect for and a good friendship to, you don't like playing them on game day, I'll tell you that, right? But that can't change who you are when it's not game day.
Any other questions for Coach?
How about the ACC, y'all?
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Cool.
The Michigan State locker room is open at this time as well. All right, our next team in is Michigan State, joined tonight by head coach Robin Fralick and student athletes Moira Joyner and Theron Halleck. Coach, if you would, please make an opening statement.
Yeah, well, first of all, congratulations to North Carolina. It was a heck of a game. Thought a very, very good opponent, and and I'm proud of our team. I think we were down 2 with 2 minutes and 22 seconds left in the game, and gave ourselves some hope there right till the end. So it's all the last games are always really hard, and you don't always know when they're going to come. But I think about this game, and there's going to be things we're going to think we could do better, and this and that, and we're going to be able to pick that apart. But the bigger part of this game is I'm just really, really proud of our team for this season. And Mo and Tori are our seniors, and I think the one of the best feelings you can have as a coach is when 2 players finish their careers, that there is literally no regrets. And I think that's hard. I think that's hard to be able to do. And for Mo and Tori, I know that's a really cool thing about them, is they really gave us their best this whole season, and they wore the Spartan jersey with a ton of pride. And I'm really thankful I had an opportunity to coach them.
Open up for questions for just the student athletes at this time. Please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. We'll start on the right. Young man in front, if you introduce yourself, please.
How you doing, guys? Deshaun Johnson for the State News. Mo, I just kind of wanted to ask you a little bit, obviously, I mean, what Coach Fralick talked about, it obviously being very emotional and being your senior year. Can you talk about what it was like being able to play for Fralick in your final year?
Bear with me. No, I thanked the coaching staff in the locker room, and I just told them I love them, and I'm just super happy that they came to Michigan State and they decided to trust our program and trust the players that were already here. And I wouldn't have wanted to go out with a different coaching staff. You know, I'm so grateful for Coach Fralick and the rest of them, and Dean Lockwood for staying on staff, and just super grateful. Like, wouldn't change it for the world.
Go to the second row. Go ahead.
What do you think? So you hit the three, 5.4 seconds to go, and it's been sort of an uphill fight the whole game. Are you thinking at that point, okay, wait a sec, we may actually do this? What's going through your mind after a game where it just didn't seem like it was ever going to be your day before that?
Yeah, I think we had to play one play at a time, and after I hit that three, we came together and we said we got to get a rebound right away, and we kind of struggled to get the rebound, but we knew what we had to do, and we stayed together through it all. But, I mean, honestly, my mindset was we made the shot, but we're not done yet. There's still time on the clock, and we can't give up.
Where for you, I'm wondering, like, was it one of those, I mean, you get the foul trouble, extreme foul trouble, you're back in, it's like 21-7, you're checking back in with 3 fouls. I mean, it's just one of those games where did it feel like, uh-oh, this is not anything we planned, and did it feel like the uphill fight that it looked like?
Oh, for sure. I mean, North Carolina is tough. Like, congrats to them. Like, they're a really tough team. But, yeah, I feel like whenever you get into a big game like that, I feel like you always get in foul trouble. Like, that's just how it goes, you know? And so I'm grateful for them to put me back in and trust me like that. But I just knew, like, this could be possibly our last game, which it was. But, like, you had to play smart. You had to go back out there. I mean, Julia did the same thing. Like, we were all in foul trouble, so it was, you got to give it your all.
Come over here to the left.
Ian Kress, CBS Lansing. Both of you increased your scoring averages, and a bunch of players on the team did the same thing. What was it about this staff that really allowed you guys to excel when it comes to scoring?
Myra, take that first.
Honestly, I think offense is part of it, practice is part of it, getting work in the gym, preseason is part of it, but it's really just a trust piece. Like, when your coaches trust you and they trust what you do with your game, like, that gives you confidence as a player, and I think they did a really good job instilling confidence in all of us.
Darren?
I think for me, coming in as a guard that's just been focused on my speed, they wanted me to work on my shot, and ever since I've gotten in the gym with them and stay consistent with my shooting, I've never felt more confident, and I give all the credit to the coaching staff because they've trusted me through that. And I think I can proudly now say that I'm more than just a fast basketball player, I'm also a shooter. So.
Other questions for Stan? Go ahead, right there.
Just speaking kind of to the offense this year and the consistency that you guys have been through. I mean, obviously in the first half, things weren't going exactly the way you guys wanted to. Can you just talk about being able to stick in it in the fourth quarter and still continue to try and take shots and knock them down when you need to?
Darren, you want to take that first?
I think, as Coach preaches every day, togetherness is key. We knew our shots weren't falling, and we knew that we had to get back in transition. But we came together in our huddles, and we said our shots aren't falling, and we got to keep shooting them because we were getting good looks. I also think our ball movement was a little iffy at some points. We were standing a little bit too much. But, I mean, that just comes with the game. I mean, it's a big game that we played a great team. But at the end of the day, we still came together in our huddles and fought back.
Where?
Well,
Can you just kind of talk about like how the team was still able to rally back together?
Yeah. No, I just think that's kind of been all season long. You know, that's us. Like, we're tough. We're not going to give up. Teams might think we're out of it, but we're still right there and, you know, behind you. And, I mean, I think we proved that today. You know, wish it was a different result. But we're a tough team, and we're not going to give up. So.
Can the two of you put this season into words? I mean, you know, this is not the regime you signed up for. You know, it was you wanted to get to the NCAA tournament. You did that. Obviously, you probably wanted to win the day too. Obviously, but could just put into what you're feeling right now and be it gratitude, be it whatever it may be that you're feeling in this moment.
Where?
Yeah, gratitude's a great word. I just think, sorry. I'm from Michigan, so
playing in the green and white for 5 years has been like the world to me. It's been a dream come true, and I just think that like I'm so grateful for the team, and I just told them like in the locker room, like, you guys have so much to build on, like don't be satisfied with this season, and like go get a Big Ten championship next year, because we have a ton of people coming back and other teams don't. So I think, I mean, we're moving on right now, and I think the returners are going to make a great mark next year.
Yeah, I probably have to second that with gratitude, but also I would say, we said it a lot throughout the year, we're a redeemed team. I think everybody looks at us as the underdog, and they don't really, I mean, 90% of people had North Carolina winning today, but they didn't know what fight we could bring. So I think that redeemed team is a good place to put us, because people always think that we're going to come in and lose the game, but this year wasn't, and I think the coaching staff took a huge role in that. I mean, she came in and changed the program, and I can't wait to see what I can do in the next couple of years with her as a coach and for all the future of this culture and this program.
Use the microphone, please.
When you say change the program, can you speak to like some of the things that felt different this year and sort of led to that?
Yeah, I think just they came in full swing, came in with consistency. And we had a little bit of consistency before, but they came in and they had their core values, and we stuck with that every day. And we talk about it every day. There's a different core value every day. It's an everyday thing. Every day, everything they say, everything happens that day. And I think that we built like the most trust I've ever had with a coach I've built with this coaching staff. Like, I've never been so blessed to have a coaching staff that trusts me, but also I trust them. So it's just the consistency every day that we get from them, and like we know what we're going to get. So that's just what motivates us as players and keeps us locked in.
Anything else for the student athletes? Seeing none, you can go back. Congratulations on a great season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll take questions now for Coach Fralick.
Robin, you do all this prep for a game, and when it starts like that, and all of a sudden you're looking at foul trouble decisions with two of your best players, 2 and 3 fouls early, like how much goes out the window a little bit? How differently do they have to play? Like what's going through your mind when it's like 21-7, 23-7, and you're just trying to hang in there, right?
Yeah, I mean, for us, the difference in the game was the first quarter. After that, we kind of found our way. Yeah, we had Mo and Jew in foul trouble. We were out of sorts, you know, and credit to North Carolina. They've been a very, very good defensive team. They've hung their hat on that, and they're really big. You know, I think their length and size, I think it took us a bit to adjust to that. That's not something we see every day, and we for sure don't see it with ourselves, you know, going against ourselves. So, and yet I know, like Mo, we played her with 3 fouls because we trust her and we need her. And I thought Drew grew up tonight even with playing with 2 fouls from where we were in the Big Ten tournament. So, yeah, I thought that, unfortunately the first quarter really changed the game for us. But it took us a minute to sort of get adjusted to some of their length and size.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You talked about at the beginning, just when you look at this team, your maiden voyage with this program, what will be their legacy to you? How will you remember them?
What I've loved about this group is how far we've come as a team. I can think back to a lot of first things, you know, first individual meetings, first team meetings, and what I love about it is that I love that 18 to 22-year-olds are at such a cool age. You know, they're really kind of funny characters, right? They're and to watch them, and we've got a group that they're all different, but we had a group that really kind of figured out the power of a team and figured out the power of working hard and believing new people. I think that's hard, right? When you come in and the whole staff is new, and we're lucky Coach Dino stayed. I feel really grateful. I think I'm constantly reminded about just the power of human nature and belief, and you know, they stood side by side with us. We were learning too. and we were honest about it. You know, there's so many things that we had to learn and we didn't know, and they were willing to walk, you know, side by side with us in that.
How much of what we saw this year is when you picture what you want the program to be, and obviously as you recruit, you know, and change the roster, whatever it may look, how much of this is what you want it to look like, and sort of what are the key essentials for you moving forward as you assess things?
Well, you know, I loved our speed, and I love coaching with speed. So that was a pretty fun match, I thought, from the start. What do we need more of? I mean, clearly the size was a huge problem tonight. We got out-rebounded by almost 20, and that's back-to-back nights, and we got killed on easy second shots, and we didn't get any of those. So that makes the game really, really hard when you're getting really, you know, when the different rebounding difference is so significant. So clearly that's something we have to figure out moving forward. But, you know, I think it's our job to figure it out as coaches. It's your job to figure out what you have and how do you make the most of it. And it looks different every single year, even when you've been there a while, right, and you've recruited. It's always your job to figure out how to put your team in a position to be successful.
Go in front here.
Coach Theron, and I mean all year we've kind of talked about the sense of togetherness that the team has had, and I know from learning from you guys that it started in the summer, early last year. So can you kind of talk about how that will play into this next row now that you've like kind of comforted yourself into the program and you'll have the full summer to get ready with everyone, like just how that will look for your team?
Yeah, I think there's always a process. I think now the process begins to look a little different because we know each other better. So usually things can speed up for growth and development and things like that. But I know as a staff, I mean, we're not just, you know, we're motivated. I think it's hard to get here. It's hard to win here. And when you get here and you're really close, I think that gap just really creates a catalyst of continued motivation. So I know as a staff, we'll feel really motivated to continue to find ways to help us get better.
Go over to the left.
Theron was just talking about how she's never felt more confident when on the floor. What did you as a staff maybe do to help the players feel this confidence? Maybe specifically, what did you guys do?
You know, the credit goes to them. I mean, nobody can buy you confidence. You know, nobody can hand you confidence. I think confidence is, it comes from within. And so I give them credit. Confidence comes from getting in the gym and shooting a lot, right? Confidence comes from practicing hard. So, I mean, that's kind that she said that, but I'm going to deflect it back to her because she became a better player this year because she worked at it. And when you work at it and your habits get better and you perform better, right? And then you perform better and your confidence is better. So that's on them. It's our job to find paths for that, you know, and it's their job to build their confidence.
Let's go back to the right.
You mentioned your relationship with Courtney before this, and she was. I asked her about it, and she said you guys were out family having ice cream last night, like together. I mean, obviously you guys are friends before and beyond this. Why is that important to you? Why was that important to get together with her and have your families interact that way?
I mean, the coaching world is quite lonely, and I think we need each other. And she's been a good friend through it, and we help each other, right? We share I don't even think they're secrets. We share things. We learn from each other. So where we have an opportunity to be in the same place at the same time, how cool that we can connect. I mean, we both want to win on game day. That doesn't change the competitive spirit. But in this coaching world, we all need a few buddies, right?
Yeah, I mean, can you describe that loneliness? What makes it that when you're in your position?
Oh, it's, I mean, it's just part of the deal. It's part of the deal of figuring out how to manage a lot of people and perform and compete. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a motivating thing. But I think it's our job in coaching to find ways we have to find community so that we can help each other navigate, you know, through all of the nuances that come with coaching.
Any other questions for Coach? We good? All right. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.